Morning guys, so today I'm continuing with the third roll series and I'm looking at running games. So basically we start off with a 6-5 and whatever opponent responds we're going to then look at all the number one XG responses for money. And you know 6-5 is the only real running game there is because 6-4, 6-3 are slightly wrong for money to run, and even at double match point I think they're pick 'em between this and coming down and running, and you basically get the idea for running games. You can adjust for 6-4, 6-3 if someone plays it against you, but most of the time we're only going to run with a 6-5 in the opening roll. So let's look at all the different responses starting from the top. And actually if opponent runs with 6-5, so it's a pure running game, runner versus runner, if we look through all the combos, then actually everything else becomes easy. And at first I got quite a few of these wrong, but there are a few simple rules which make it really easy, and then everything else is kind of unlocked, and we'll just look at the exceptions to make it a quickish video. So obviously 6-5 we're running, 6-4, 6-3, 6-2 we run. So whenever we can we run into the opponent's outfield. 6-1 makes the bar. 5-4 it's right to run. We would like to bring 2 down to try and make a point, but I think the theme is just running. Whenever we can run into that outfield we can. And there's one exception which is coming up in a minute. Yeah, so 24-15. Relatively close, but still better to run with the 5-4 rather than the constructive 2 down, leaving a few flies. 5-3 makes the 3 point. Now 5-2, quite an important one. It's better to just bring 2 down. It does quite a few things. It unloads the mid. It only leaves a 6-4 for the opponent. It gives us lots of builders and distribution for the bar and 5 point. And also, importantly, it doesn't step up. It doesn't come under attack with when your villain rolls a 5 or a 3. So I found it's very, very rarely right when you only have one man back to step up at all. I always think before, I'd think, okay, maybe a 5-2 I'd come back, but other rolls like 4-3 or something, I'd use one of the numbers to step up, thinking, oh, I've only got one man back, let's escape. But actually, anywhere you come up to the 22, 21 or 20, even mostly the 23, opponent can then attack you. That stops you escaping the next roll, and you've got 6s out anyway in this spot. So stepping out doesn't really help all that much. Just goes against the game plan rather than helps it. So my basic rules are anything where you can run all the way, except like 5-3 makes a point, you do into the opponent's outfield, the 13 to 18. But anything where when you got one man back which stays in his 1 to 5 point, it's basically wrong, and it's better to come down from the mid. So 5-2, you just bring 2 men down like that. 5-1 is the only exception. You don't want to leave a shot anywhere here. Coming out to the bar is just the wrong idea, giving him 6s and 1s. So we just come down, unloading the mid, and play to the 23. So that's the only time we ever move a checker, I think, inside villain's home board. Just stepping up to the 23, and it's right by a lot. Like maybe in the past I would have thought, oh, one man back, let's try and escape. Come to the 18, but it's wrong. You just come down and up to the 23, which looks kind of unnatural. It feels like you're priming yourself a bit, just giving yourselves 5s out and coming under attack by 6s and 4s, but I guess 6s are duped as well for him. So anyway, just stepping up is right. And like I said, 4-3, we don't step up, we bring 2 men down. We don't even play safe, just playing with 1 block coming into the 6. I think it's a fight to try and make a point now. We've escaped 1 man, we've got bad distribution. I mean, it's great that we've escaped a man, but we've got relatively bad distribution. All the checkers stacked in the mid, and this gives a chance to unload. I guess by leaving double blot on the 9 and 10, you do leave quite a few flies, but you can always hit back if you're hit, and it's just the most constructive. And when we have 3-2, it's going to be the same thing. You bring 2 down. So 4-2 obviously makes the 5 point. 4-1, we don't want to be stepping up. 9 and 23 is just too dangerous, leaving 2 blots, so we just come down to the 8 point naturally. It looks kind of ugly stacking them, but it does unload the mid a bit, gives you an extra builder on the 8, and it's right by a million miles, 0.05, 0.044 over that play like we did with the 5-1. So that's a subtle difference. 5-1 you come down and up, but 4-1 you just play to the 8. 3-2 we said we bring 2 down, 3-1 makes the point, 2-1. Again, now that you know the rules, it's easy. Obviously we're not starting to get hit back and sent back after we rolled a 6-5 and only got 1 block. We don't step up like I just said, so that only leaves 13-10. A bit like the 4-1, we just come to safety with 8. 2-1 puts a nice builder on the 10. No thinking of stepping up to the 21. It's going to be clearly correct. We don't want to slot anything. Just show you the result. Well, it's actually it's really close between 23 and 11 and 10. I mean, nothing in it. It's pick'em 002. But because the rules are formulated to help me remember, it's just easier for me just to play this. And then I've got the rule. Come down from the mid with everything except 5-1, basically. Unless you can run into his outfield. The doubles, 6-6. 6-6 is right to come 3 down and 1 out. Game plan to escape. And it's actually, I'll come to the 6-6 in a minute. That's a bit trickier, the double, how to play 6-6, because sometimes it's just 4 down and sometimes it's 3 down and 1 out. And I've sort of formulated a rule for that. But this one, game plan clearly to run. There's no reason why not to. Get loads of returns. If you're hit, you might be missed. Just better than pointing on the ace or 4 down. So 5-5. I think we just make the 2 points in board this time. Put him in the air. Often it's right not to waste blitz. But here it's clearly right. There's not many returns. 4 makes the 5 point. 3. It's tempting when he's got 1 block back to make the board. But 10 and 3 points, a very powerful combination. Leaves no shots. You're ahead in the race. Points everywhere. Nice structure. Unloads the mid. And 2 obviously 11 and 4. So all the doubles against virtually all the rolls, whether he runs or makes a point or splits, unless you can like blow him out with a wipeout blitz or something when he split, it's nearly always right. 6-6 to come down and out. There are some exceptions. 5-5. There are some exceptions. 4 always makes the 5. 3 always makes the 10 and 3. And 2 always makes the 11 and 1. And 1, it's very close. Most of the time, actually, it's right to play to the 22. 5 point and 22. But some scenarios, it's close with a 5 and 7. I think this is a close one, if I remember right. But most of the time, I make the 5 and step up to the 22. You've got the stronger board, you don't want to leave the block, game plans to escape. It's the one other time. It's pick 'em here. Doesn't matter what you do. Some of them it's much better to come up when you roll something other than 6-5. Okay, so now we've done 6-5, 6-5. Most of the rest plays themselves. We start with 6-5. Let's skip the 6-4 for a minute because the opponent makes the 2 point. It's a little bit different to some of the others. Let's look at 6-4, 6-3, which is 6-3, 6-2, which is similar. When he plays 6-3 like this, 6-4, how do we play it? I think they're close. Sorry, I just typed in 5-4. Let's just go through them. So 6-5, obviously we run, we don't double hit, just the game plan, we've escaped both men, race lead. 6-4, I think hitting and coming down or hitting and coming up's right, but just make sure you don't make the 2 point, which would be a horrible blunder, allowing him freedom to make the bar or a point in board. So these plays are close. Usually, when you can hit with a 6, you do. When you can hit at all, you usually do, even after the 6-5 opener. Whether to come up or down, it's close. Personally, I come down because most of them fit into the rule of coming down, so it's just easier to remember. So if it's pick 'em, easier to remember that way. 6-3 hits, so 6-2 is going to be hit and come down. So we don't just... Anyway, basically they're all the same as what we looked at with 6-5, 6-5, so I don't need to go through them. I think the only difference is a 4-3. After the 6-5 runner we came down with 2. I think with the 4-3 here we just come into the 6. Let's have a look. Or maybe we step up to the 21 and 9 like in normal openers. Let's have a look. Remember, this was an exception. Yeah, we just come simply into the 6 point, don't come under attack. 3-2 is the same, we just come down to the 8. I think against the 6-5, 6-5 runner we brought 2 down. And there's a slight difference with 4-1 and 2-1. We hit on the bar and come down. And the 2-1 we're going to hit and come down as well. Basically just always right when you can to hit on that bar and come down. You're not going to go too far wrong. With that, you can't just go passive. Actually, I think 5-2. Let's have a look at 5-2. Yeah, normally we bring 2 down, but here we don't want to live in the 3-4, so obviously it's kind of forced to step up. And then all the others play the same. 6-6. It's going to be a bit different here, I think, because you can double blitz now that he's split. Before we came down with 3 and out with 1, but here that would leave all the shots. Here we can obviously just blitz him out the water. And in fact, I think it's probably a good time. Let me just go through all the double sixes, which you roll on a third roll, because there's some exceptions. So basically, the rule I found is when you start with a 6-5, whatever he rolls with when you roll double six on the third roll, it's always right to like just say he hasn't rolled anything. I don't know, we start off with 6-5. The basic theory is this is right by a lot, just to come out, that's the game plan. And I think that's always the case unless he's split. If he's split like that, we can double blitz him because that leads to such huge cubes. Say for example he fans. Let's just have a look at the cube action after double fan. What did I do here? So it's already a big pass, I think. And if he comes in, I don't know, just like with a 4, say he rolls a 6-4, you're going to have a double take, I think. Oh, even that's a pass. It's kind of borderline. That's interesting. Let's just have a look when we put the checkers in different spots. So it's interesting. If he comes in on the 5 point, it's double pass. If he comes in on the 4 or 3 or 2, it's going to be double take. So that's the easy take. So kind of, it's interesting. If he enters on the 4, that's kind of like borderline. Further back, there's less blitz for us, and he's got more chance of anchoring. So this is borderline pretty much. 5 points pass, 3 and 2, easy take, fan, double pass. Right, so back to the double sixes. If we can blitz him out the water, we do. Where are we at? They're on there. Any other time, say for example he rolls 5-4. Whenever he's split, basically it's right to bring 4 down. If he splits in our home board. If he splits to the bar, we double blitz. If it's a scenario like this, we bring 4 down. And I think the reason is he's got 2 blots. We don't want to come out and let him hit, which gives him a chance to tidy up. We want our whole roll with more wood in the zone to attack. And even then it's kind of close. But after this, if he doesn't safety up, we've really got loads of wood to attack him with, loads of builders in the zone. Even if he anchors up, we've got the race lead. He can't do everything. Whereas if we play this, he can anchor with, he can hit us to keep us busy when we've got a nice distribution. So I think it's the same, like if he rolls anything, 3-1, 3-2, 2-1, 4-3, any of the kind of plays where he does this, it's right just to bring 4 down. Sorry it's taking a while, but I just want to show you. Yeah, it's right by a lot this time. So anytime he splits on our ball, we bring 4 down. Anytime comes to the bar, we blitz him, and anytime, like say he makes a point, now it's right to bring 3 down and come 1 out because he hasn't split. So we go with this game plan instead of the attacking game plan, just the escaping game plan. Only exception is when he rolls a 6-4. You see, come out's right by a lot here. So you can make big mistakes if you don't know these rules. Double six, the only exception when he makes a point is the 2 point. When he makes a 2 point, it's slightly right to come down with all 4 men. Guess he's got a bit more race and it's more blitzy for him. If we attack, we're not really getting primed. There's not quite as much reason. But like 5-3, you see the difference. Now it's going to be right to come out. And the closer to the 5 point, the more right it's to come out. The closer the point he makes to the 2 point, it's okay to stay back. But even here, it's clear to come out. And say he rolls like I don't know. Just take any other roll. Say he plays 5-2 like that. Just which I think is the right play after a 6-5 opener, rather than split. Now he hasn't split at the back, so it's going to be right to come out. Okay. So now back to you see. So all these rules kind of work, easy to remember, make logical sense once you know them. Construct a story for it if that helps you. Well, it does help. Okay, so we looked at the 6-5, 6-3 splits. Now let's go back. We roll 6-5 and he rolls 6-2. Are there any differences? 6-3, obviously when he played 6-3 we could hit him on the outside, but all the other times with the 6 in the split to the 3, it was right when we could hit on the bar and come down. 6-3, it's right to come up this time. Come up all the way to the 21. So we hit on the 7 and come up. It's right by 009. Whereas say 6-2, it's right just to hit and come down. So there's a big difference between coming all the way up to the 21 and 22. So that's a subtle difference. Yeah, there's a big difference between 6-2 and 6-3. 5-4, it was right after 6-5, 6-5 to run all the way. This time it's better to come down to the 8 and up to the 20. I guess it duplicates the 6s nicely. 6 is to hit on the 20 and 6 is to anchor. Everything else is the same, so it's pretty easy. Yeah. Okay, so that's when he's run with a 6-5 after our 6-5 or the 6-4, 6-3 or 6-2 splits. Let's look at when he makes a point. So after we run with a 6-5 and he rolls 3-1. Everything is basically the same as after the 6-5. 6-5 we looked at. I'm just looking down my notes. I think there's just a couple of exceptions. 3-2 is one of them. After 6-5, 6 right, it was right to come down to the 8. Sorry. After 6-5, 6-5, we brought 2 down. Whereas I think once he's made the point, it's right just to come to the 8 point. It's too scary to leave 2 blots. Too fatal when he rolls 6-4, 4-5 or 6-3. Yeah, and it's right by a lot, 0.02. It's an error not to. And I think before I did this study, I would have played something like 11 and 21, thinking game plan escape, only leave a 6-4, or even 10 and 22. But they're 0.035 or 0.04 is double error. So the principle holds, you just don't step up in his board, only if you can run all the way. But this is an exception. 3-2, you don't bring 2 down here. You just come up, double 1, everything else plays the same as what we've looked at. Double 1, it's right to come up to the 22. So the key is we don't want to leave extra blots, like with that 3-2 when he's made the strong 5 point. More incentive to escape. So it was very close after 6-5, 6-5 what to do with a double 1, but here it's clearly right to step up. It's very rarely right to make the bar on the 5 after we've escaped with 1 man, leaving that extra blot. It's usually right to do this, so I'll just put that in as the rule. I think actually, sorry, I missed one exception looking at my notes, the 2-1. So after 6-5, 6-5, we played 13-10. Let's see what's right here. I think it's 23 and 11 because... No, it's the same. Excuse me. Exactly the same. I think that's an exception after 4-2. We may as well do it now. So that's all the 3 1s. When he makes a point, we roll 6-5, he rolls 4-2 instead of 5-3. Everything's the same, except 2-1. we played 13-10 like after 6-5, 6-5. Here, for some reason, it's slightly better to come 23 and 11. Not exactly sure why. Maybe it's because the 6-4 is duped, but it's almost an error now. Well, it is an error to play 13-10. 0.016, basically an error. I guess here the 6-4 is duped to point on the 3-point or hit on the outside. It must be that. It's not that hard to remember that one when you see that duplication. Just looking at my notes, everything the same. Let's just have a look at the double one. I think it's going to be right to make the 5 and 22, whereas after 6-5, 6-5 it was pick'em. Yeah. Okay, so that's all the 5-3s, all the doubles play the same. After he rolls 5-3, everything's the same except 5-4. Before it was right to run. Obviously when he makes a 5-point, you've got to bring 2 down. But here it's right after he's made the 3-point for some reason to come down with 2. And I think the reason is if you run to the 15, which we'd like to for the game plan, it gives him a good 3, whereas here he's made the 3-point, so it's only really 3-1 double 3, which plays well for him. Maybe the 5-3 is kind of a maybe that's not a good enough reason, I don't know. Our race isn't so good, we're only 3 pips up and roll 9-12 and he's on roll. Not that much incentive to escape, and he's got the kind of slightly more blitzy point. Yeah, so that's the it's a 0.03, to run here. But after a 4-2, it was right. It was still right to run. Like it was after 6-5, 6-5. No other exceptions. So there's just a big difference on this one. Maybe it's the way the 3s play. See, now it's an error not to run. Quite difficult. Unless you study this, there's no way you could know this, I don't think. Like, how many players in the world would run here and bring 2 down here? I don't think many. It's just a guess. I don't think you can work that out over the board. Interesting. It's an error if you get it wrong. So it's worth knowing. Okay, so 6-4, if he makes the deuce point, 5-4, like after the 5-3, we come down with 2 instead of run. So this principle, we're not getting primed as much. Everything else is the same except the double 6 we talked about is 4 down. We've done that already. So the other point making number is 6-1. A non-double number, which makes a point is 6-1. 5-2 is slightly different to all the others because we step up to the 22 here. I think that gives us air to give us a 6 out. Before it wasn't crucial to step up because 6s go out anyway when we run a man here. We do need to bring that man home at some time. So instead of 2 down, with the 5-2 we step up. 2-1 it's 23 and 11. I guess it's freezing that man on the 8-point slightly. Looks kind of unnatural, but it does unstack the mid. Whereas before we played 13-10. It's quite a big exception. I think this is right by a lot. Let's have a look. Yeah. Not a lot for 0.01, but still, I may as well get it right. It's just one of the exceptions. There are not many to learn. So what would you think double 1 here? It was pick him against 6-5. Against all the other points we come up. I would say come up, but it's close. Really close. Back to pick him. Okay, so that's all the point making numbers. So now we'll look at the splits. So after he runs with the 6-5 and he rolls 5-4, he's going to play it like that. Does anything else play differently? 6-2 this time, instead of running we can hit. It's not always clear when to hit, but with the 6-2 it is. Show you how clear it is. While I'm looking at my notes for if there are any other ones. Oh yeah, and when you can double hit, it's usually right. So 4-3 and 4-1 we double hit clearly, rather than the passive plays. Yeah, so 6-2 is slightly right to hit here, overrunning. 3-4 and 4-1, it's clear to double hit. And I think the reason, let's have a look at, you know, in so many of the openings, it's right just to hit and come down, like 9 and 3, but say, or let's say a 4-1. In so many of the openings, you know, it's natural to play 9 and 5 rather than double hit. But I think the thing is here, we put 2 on the bar, and once we've rolled a 6-5, it's kind of, well, it's close, it's pick'em here. It's pick'em. But if you always double hit, it's going to be right for the other ones, it's easier to remember. And I think, the way I think about it is he can come in higher once you've hit him. If you don't get hit back with the ace, he can then come in higher and you can just skip behind him with the awkward structure of that extra man on the mid and just play to the running game. Takes away his whole roll. So they're close here, but after some of the other splits, it's really right by a lot to double hit. So it's just so much easier if you always double hit here. Let's just have a look if there are any other exceptions. You remember 3-2 before we brought 2 down. Obviously, we're not going to do that now. We'll play passive to the 8. If we can hit, we can. Because we haven't even got much of a race lead here. So here it's obvious to hit. I think because, you know, your race lead after we roll 6-5 and 5-4, you've only won 2 pips on the opening roll. Now you've rolled 5, so you're actually kind of behind. So more incentive, definite incentive to hit rather than give him the whole roll to anchor or make a point or run. It's pretty obvious backgammon logic. Only other exceptions are double 5. I think this is a really well-known thing where you bring 2 down to the 8 and make the ace. It's kind of well-known position, this one. Takes away half his roll, stops him from anchoring. Like that. Looks ugly, but once you know it, you know it. This kind of just gives him too much freedom. And the normal play of the double 5 is just wrong by a long way. It's almost a blunder, 0.06. Not really blitzing once we've escaped to man, and this gives him too many returns. 5-3, 2-6, double 4, 2-3, 4-3. It's just way too many shots when you're winning the race cleanly, and this gives you such a strong position, nice cubes, and so on to follow up. Yeah, so that's an exception. Double 1 this time, we do make the bar rather than step up. I think it's kind of obvious why. It gives him a bad 6 from the bar. We make the bar when he's stuck back on the ace, and it's just strong. If we step up, it gives him 3s and 5s from the bar. All the others play the same. What about if he plays 4-3? I think that's the right play with a 4-3. 5-2 hits this time, down and hit, keep him busy. 4-3 double hit like before. 2-1, we hit and come up, there's no other one. And they're all the same. The double 5 is another exception where you do the same thing. This kind of ugly looking ace and down to the 8. Keeps him busy when he's got builder, consolidates the race lead, no flies. Doesn't let him anchor, so, you know, just with a free roll, he's got to come in from the bar. So it's the same as after a 5-4, clear. That's all of the differences. 4-1. 6-4, obviously we make the deuce point this time, clear instead of running. 4-1's an exception here. This time goes against the rule of double hitting and keeping him busy. For some reason it's just 13-8. I guess it's to do with the race again. You know, this time we're up 6 before the roll and we've rolled 5 pips, we're 11 on roll and we've escaped to man. So now it's just right to bring 2 down. It doesn't achieve enough to double hit, so that's an exception. And the double 5, slightly different this time. Instead of 2 down and ace point, we make the 3. I guess all the points are in front of him, whereas if he'd split to the R5 or 4, we're making a point behind the man he's split with. So here this is fine. The same principle, winning the race by a lot. Making the 3 and 1 is close to, 0.055, close to a blunder. So some slight subtle differences with that. Yeah. So let's go back to the initial. So we just looked at the 4-1. What about after a 3-2? I just want to make sure I'm right, but I think the right play, hope I remember the opening response, is 21-11 with it. Yeah, clear. So when he responds with 21-11, let's just go through, see if there are any differences to after the 6-5, 6-5. 6-3 hits on the 4 instead of coming all the way out, giving him 1s and 3s and 11s, 22 shots just for free lunch. So let's just have a look. Is it right to step up here? Because the dupes the 4s will unstack and come to the 10, giving us a good 6. No, we definitely hit on the 4. Don't think we double hit this time. Let's have a look. Yeah, we do. So we can go with that rule, except for after the 4-2-1, 4-1, 4-1-2-1. Sorry, 4-1-4-1, where we don't double hit. Here we do. So it's right when we rolled the 6-5 first time to nearly always double hit. I mean, it's close between this and this. Stepping up would be bad. 0.04. It's just a fake duplication of the 4s. That's not what's important. So yeah, let's stick with the rule of the double hit. Just checking if anything else is different. 4-3, same thing, double hit. And the 5-2 is quite difficult. So whilst the rule is usually not to step up and to hit when you can, yeah, so this is close, but just going with the memory thing to double hit. 5-2 is right just to play passively here with this one. Come down to the 8 and the 22. I guess it achieves a lot. It unstacks the 13, duplicates his 3s, which is the anchor, and hit you on the 22. So it's just not that dangerous. And you're winning the race by 6 + 7, 13 pips. So it's really clear not to hit here. You know, so like the 6-3 we do because it's just not too weak to come out, giving him all those free shots. But 5-2, we can just make this play, and we're in a good spot with a positive equity of 0.083 in the game. Not crushing, but it's fine. Another exception is 2-1. Just hitting it up is just too lame, so I think we just come to the 21 here. It's too many shots to come 11 and 23. And again, there's no duplication, but it's just the right play to step up. So there's a few exceptions. Yeah, clearly right to step up. And let's just have a look at the double 5 this time. Have a think what you do. Would you make 2 points on the board? Would you come down to the 8 and make the ace? Would you just make the 3 point without hitting? So they're close between just making the 3 and this play, but the blitz leaving all the shots is wrong. So when you're clearly ahead in the race, 27 pips, don't want to leave a blot in pure blitz. And I guess some of the reason is you don't realize your equity. You know, I mean, say you make that play and then it becomes double pass when he fans. So for money, you don't even win a gammon because you're just going to cube him out with Jacoby. It's part of the reason. Okay, so there's only one more split. That's 2-1. No, he doesn't split with the 2-1. After 6-5, he's supposed to do that. It's a slot. Everything's the same except 5-4 we can hit. Just out of interest, what do you think you'd do with the 5 here? You hit with the 4, would you run or come down? And it's right to run because you don't want to give him a good 6 from the bar. It's that old chestnut, that good rule. 6s play badly after this when you come out. You know, you might, if he doesn't roll a 1 or a 3, you've escaped. Even though you want to bring a builder down and unstack that mid. Double 4 I found a bit tricky. I mean, I can see you don't make the 4, you just make the 9 but you hit and make the 9, what's the last one? And it's right just to come out by a long, long way rather than 3 down. So, or making the 4 or something silly like that. We know the 9 point's good in this structure, in the openings. This is just simple. This again, the rule gives him a good 6. So this is right by a hell of a lot. Don't know if everyone will get this right. Kind of thematic. Everything else plays the same. I think the double 3 is slightly different. Every other double 3 we make the 10 and 3. This one we make the board. I guess it puts a lot of pressure if he doesn't cover the block. The double 1, obviously we make the 7 and 5. We're, priming him completely and not stepping up to be attacked, even with no reason to step up here. And it's going to duplicate his 1-6. When we make the double 1, he wants to cover the 5, not hit on that block on the 8. Yeah, so this time it's the only time with a double 3 we do that. Yeah, so that's all the regular combos. After we roll 6-5 and he rolls a double, the double 6s we've looked at already. Everything's out except when he splits, basically, or where you can point twice. After double 5, obviously, we're getting blitzed. Most of the numbers play themselves. 5-4 is the only, not the only one, but I think the idea of coming out is just wrong here, because if you run, we're down 10 before the roll after he's rolled double 5. Even though we've open roll 6-5, he's countered with a double 5. We're down in the race, so it's just not. It's not thematic. He's a pip up and on roll, and we're giving him all those free shots. Just achieves nothing. Better to unstack, bring the mid. At least if he hits us inboard, we've got a chance of hitting back. Makes sense. I may have got that wrong in the past. If we roll a 2-4, we want to come in low and bring down, even though it's 2 blots. This is just more constructive and kind of dupes his 6s, and we don't care so much if we get hit on the 2. We don't want to be attacked on the 4 or 5 when we enter, so we do that, even though it leaves a blot. I mean, better than this, coming in, being attacked there. So just play like that. 4-1, it's kind of an unusual one, but it's right to slot the 5. And it makes sense. I don't know how many people would find this over the board, but if we just come in on the 20, we've got a losing game in every way, stuck 10 pips, and he's free to blitz, at least this way. It's a double take after both ones, but after we come in and slot the 5, it dupes the 4s nicely and gives us a game plan if he doesn't roll a 4 or a 2 or a 9. Who knows, we might miss and we make it. Real upside to the play. That one's pretty clear, but easy to miss over the board, that duplication. 3-2, same thing. In on 23, not to be attacked high up and come down. Even though it's 2 blots, it achieves a lot as opposed to just coming with a 5. Okay, that's all the double 5 openers. If we run with a 6-5 and he rolls double 4, it's going to play it obviously like that. And to be honest, this is really hard, this one. I just got nearly all of them wrong. May as well just go through them because there's so many. 6-5 we run, 6-4 we run, 6-3 we run, but 6-2 we can't run to freedom, so it's right just to play to the 7 and 4. Let's just have a look at that. Yeah, these double 4 responses are just very different to all the rules. I guess when he rolls a big double, it changes the game plan because we're down in the race. Yeah, so this play was right. 6-1, obviously we make the bar. 5-4 we still run. 5-3 makes the 3. 5-2, what would you do here? I guess it's going to be 8 and 4. No point stepping up when we're down in the race, that's easy. 5-1, What did you do here? Slot the bar or just come out? Probably just come out. Not sure. Okay, so it's the same as all the others. Down and up. 5-1, so that's easy to remember. 4-3. I think it's right to play to the 4 and 3 point here. Start building the board. I'm not 100% sure, but just coming into the 6 looks wrong. Yeah, it's 4 and 3 marginal. 4-2 makes the board. 4-1 comes down as usual. 3-2. This is really difficult. It's right to play to the 21 and 4. Don't really understand it. Why 4-3? You know, why it's right, I don't know. As opposed to just coming to the 8 or slotting a 4 and 3, but this time something about stepping up to the 21 which gives more value than anywhere else against after we've rolled a 6-5, but it's pick 'em anyway, so I guess we can just play 3-2 to the 8. It's not that hard to remember. 2-1, 23 and 4 this time by a lot. Nothing really else. We don't step up. These are just hard. I have to memorize these or just get it wrong. I don't think you can work these out necessarily over the board so easily unless I'm missing something. 6-6 sticks to the rule. 5-5 we make the 3 point. 4-4, the 9 and 2 point. I think that's just normal backgammon logic as opposed to 3-4 down or 3 down and 1 up. 9 and deuce. 3-3, same thing as usual. 2-2, same thing as usual. 1-1. There's nothing really else but to come to the 20 here. That's it. After 3-3, it's also difficult. Oh, not sure what's going on here. I must be touching the keyboard or something. So we're coming to the end of this vlog with just a few more to go. We roll with 6-6. He rolls 3-3, so it's one of those runs where it's right not to make the board against one blot. It's unusual, but this is the right response. And again, it changes things. The race is really close. We rolled 11 pips. He's rolled 12, so we're 1 down, but we're on roll. Some of the exceptions, 6-3. Obviously, we can't run this time. I'm just going to go through them quickly. It's right to play to the 7 and 3. Just for my notes, I'm not going to go plus. 5-4, it's right to play to the 8 and the dump 1 on the deuce. 5-2 to the 8 and 22. Sorry, I'm rushing through this, but I've got to go. 5-1, 8 and 5 this time. Slot the 5. I guess it's some duplication of 1s. 4-3, you're supposed to come into the 6 point. 4-2, you're supposed to slot the 7. 2-1, 11 and 5, slotting. And 4-4, you make the 9 and hop out to the 16 rather than make the deuce this time. All the others play the same, but these ones aren't easy to stick with the rules, what we've learned. 2-2 is going to make the normal play of 11 and 4. Fewer exceptions this time. This is one exception where 6-6 actually is right to bring the 4 down, even though he hasn't split. We just bring 4 down. So after he rolls 6-4 and makes the deuce, or double deuce is the only exception, I guess. Bringing 3 down and 1 out is just too much wood for him to attack us with that point made on the 11. It's just too gung-ho. 4 down is fine. Even though we're kind of not loving getting in a priming game, it's just too big to come out. 1-1, the 7 and 5 is clear here, as opposed to stepping up. I guess just get attacked with 5s if we step up and he's got the structure, and yeah, we just counter prime. Not really winning the race. Work on the prime here. Once he's rolled 2-2, it's right by a lot. So some of those 1s are quite tricky when to get it right and wrong. Every other move is the same. Let's look at 6-5-1-1. This is the last of the series. Not sure how long the vlog's been going. Let's just have a look. 45 minutes, so quite long, but this should cover all the running games basically, so I think it's worthwhile, well, at least for me. 5-3, instead of the 3-point this time we just run. We're really getting primed. So important to escape this time. 4-1, we come down and step up. I guess it's pressuring that blot. 6 away. We never did that before against 6-5, 6-5. We just came to the 8. But I guess here we're really getting primed after double one. We need to escape, and it does kind of put pressure on that blot 6 away to do something or attack that frees the builder in a way. 3-2 is a difficult one, but it's 22 and 10. I guess we see that after the 5-point sometimes. It's better to come to the 22 than the 21. Really don't want to get attacked on the edge of the prime. But we can't just bring 2 down and focus on counter priming here after double one. Again, we're getting prime, got to step up, so it's a bit different to the others. 2-1, 23 and 11, same idea, and double one, 5-point and 22 by a mile. So they're quite difficult. I guess you step up to the 23 or 22 when you can after double one, is the key difference, which you wouldn't before necessarily. So okay, that's taken us through about 45 minutes, all the opening, now we know what the game plan is after we start off running. And I think that should apply to the whole of the rest of the game, when to leave shots, when to come down. We want to make points after we've run, and we want to escape, but we also need to make points. So, takeaway, run when you can to the outfield. If we can only move to the infield with a few exceptions like this one after double one, you just come down or play passive, and everything else plays itself once you've seen it. I hope it was useful. It's definitely helped me think about the game a bit more strategically, and lots of decisions aren't really decisions anymore when I'm playing, because you kind of learn the patterns from the sequence. Anyway, so now I've done videos on all the openings where we run or slot or make a point. The only other ones I've got left to do is when we split, so probably 2 more videos, one where we split to the 6 to start, and one where we split to the 5 or 4, like major splits, and one where we split to his 1 or 2 point to start. So it should just be 2 or 3 more videos, and then I'm done with this series. Can move on with my backgammon life. Take it easy. Ciao.